What's up, guys? It's TechnoViking23 coming to you today with another Overwatch commentary video. And in today, I'm going to be talking about the fact that I think Overwatch is probably the most toxic gaming community I have ever been a part of. This seems to me to be one of the most toxic games out there right now with regards to how the community acts and treats one another. And I know games that are like this, MOBAs, MMOs, and just shooters in general, can always have a lot of toxicity. Some of my friends who play League of Legends say it's a little bit worse than Overwatch, but a lot of people agree that Overwatch just has a very, very toxic community at the moment, especially in the competitive element of it, but just overall in general. There seem to be a lot of really salty players, a lot of really toxic players in this game, people who tend to get into competitive matches and screw around just to ruin your experience. And I wanted to talk about that a little bit today and also talk about why I think Blizzard needs to address this and fix a couple of the things here. Now, from what I've seen, especially on the forums and the Reddit posts with Overwatch, is it seems to be a divide between this community. Like, it's almost 50-50. You have your better players and your elites up at the Master and Grandmaster level, and you have your players down at the Bronze and Silver level, even Gold, I'd group in there, and some Platinum, who are struggling to get out and trying to get a little bit better at the game. And you have kind of an interesting dynamic there because a lot of the better players don't seem to want to help any of the newer players or the players who aren't quite as good as them get better. It's almost like we're up at the elite level and we love being able to just stomp on these people. But then you also have this weird element of the lower levels, especially in Bronze and Silver, where people have this idea that they're just really, really good at the game. And they think they can just be toxic to everybody, and anyone who tells them how to improve is just being a jerk and can't really tell them anything. They're really a bunch of know-it-alls. So it's very, very weird, and that's been my experience even within the gold bracket, is that you get a lot of people who, the way they talk and the way they act in the games, they're so toxic. They think they're so special. They think they're so amazing, and they're entitled to be able to be an expert at the game, even though they're quite honestly not very skilled at the game. So I find that to be really, really interesting, and I wonder if you guys have experienced the same thing within Overwatch, or if it's just me so far. But there's also a lot of trolls in this game, and that's another thing I don't understand, especially at the competitive level, is why would you just jump in and just troll on purpose and not take the game seriously and try to ruin everyone else's experience? And you get trolls, you get people that just leave the game for no reason and cause you to take a loss, cause you to have a negative experience. You get people who will just pick one character and stay AFK, just moving around enough so that they don't get booted from the match so that you have to play 6-on-5. You get people that will play Mei and ice wall you off from being able to access certain areas of the map, or they'll ice wall you when you try to use your ultimate. And just things like that, which really kind of annoy me. I had a good example of this the other night. We were playing a match, and I'm going to do a video on team composition and why you shouldn't let it bother you so much, especially at the start of a match. But this kind of leads into that conversation, where we had a team and everybody picked their character, and there was one guy in the chat and also on the voice chat who was very, very salty about it, and he wanted someone to change. We didn't have two healers. I believe we had a Soldier 76 and a Mercy in the group, and he wanted somebody else to play a full-on healer, when a lot of us were saying, hey, it's okay, let's try it out and see if it works. Soldier can spot heal, we've got two tanks, and it should be pretty good. Someone even made the suggestion that maybe he should switch to a healer, since he was the only one who seemed to have a problem with it. And then he just went completely ballistic after that and started cussing everybody out, just typing all kinds of garbage in chat, and basically saying if someone didn't switch to another healing character, he was going to throw the match, he wasn't going to try, he was just going to sit in the corner. And initially he did try to play, he was our Reinhardt, and he did try to play a little bit. But when no one switched to another healing character, even though we actually did fairly well, he switched to McCree, and he actually stayed back near the spawn area and just kept shooting at the sky, moving around so that he wouldn't get booted from the game. And he did this for 2 straight rounds when we were trying to do a payload map. And honestly, it was kind of interesting because even playing 6 versus 5, we almost got the payload all the way to the end, and then we almost got the other team stopped on the other round. But if he had actually tried to play and contributed to the match, we probably could have won the match. But instead, he wanted to troll, and he just wanted to he was going to teach us a lesson, since nobody would listen to him, and change to another character. So that seems to happen a lot in this game, and I just don't really understand it. But I think part of the problem too is Blizzard really doesn't seem to care, and Blizzard doesn't really seem to have the tools in place to deal with people like this. Now, when Overwatch first started, there was what they called an avoid player feature, where if there was someone you didn't like playing with or against, you could actually report them, and if enough, when people reported them, they wouldn't really have any luck with matchmaking, and they wouldn't be able to play with anyone. Now, unfortunately, this system got abused because Blizzard didn't really think it through when they put it into the game. As I said, you could use it against really anyone, and there was the story is there's one of the top Widowmaker players in the world. Basically, everybody blocked him, didn't want to play with him because he killed them all the time, and they didn't want to have to go against him. So you were able to block people on the opposite team, so you would never really have to play against good players. And that's not how the system should have worked, and I'm not sure why Blizzard put it in that way. But they, instead of trying to work on it and fix it, they just took it out completely and removed the system completely. And I really think they need to put it back in, but implement it in a way so that you can only use it against people that are on your team. I don't mind playing against skilled players. If there's trolls on the other team, that's fine. That's going to be their problem to deal with, not mine. I don't really care about that. But it's when they're on my team and I'm constantly paired with these people who just are so toxic and don't really seem to want to try and play the game and have a good time. Those are the people I want to block and get rid of and not have to get paired with anymore. And the problem is there is actually a block feature in Overwatch. You can block players, but it doesn't seem to do anything. I get these trolls, these leavers in my games. I will block them. I will report them. And 3 games later, they're back in my lobby again, playing on my team. If I block a player, I shouldn't have to play with that player. If we're reporting these players, there's people I've reported 3 or 4 times in the same night because for some odd reason the matchmaking keeps putting the same group of players with me, and nothing happens. Nothing happens. You can report them until you are blue in the face, and nothing will ever happen because apparently Blizzard does not take any of these reports seriously. No matter what you're reporting them for, whether they're being stupid in the chat, they're being a toxic player, whether they're throwing the match. None of the features that exist in Overwatch right now are really all that good for helping the community police itself and getting rid of these toxic players, especially in the competitive setting. So it's really, really getting annoying. I really hope Blizzard addresses it. There's been a lot of complaints on it in the forums and Reddit after Season 3 competitive started. They've been pretty quiet so far. Of course, it is the holiday season, and Blizzard just put out the winter event with all the holiday skins and everything. And it seems like with Blizzard, once there start to be problems with Overwatch, they're just like, oh, here, have some shiny skins and some other things, and just, yeah, we'll pretend to say we're working on it in the background while you guys get your new little skins and microtransactions and loot boxes and things. That seems to be their approach with this game. It's almost like Bungie with Destiny in a way. It seems like Activision's fingerprints are all over this game with the way the devs respond to some of the players. I try to give them the benefit of the doubt right now because Overwatch is still a relatively young game, and I know they are still trying to figure out quite a bit of stuff in this game, and it's very tough. And I really hope they are paying attention and they are working on things because, especially within competitive right now, the matchmaking is garbage. There's a lot of toxic players, and the game right now just is not a lot of fun, and I've talked about that in other videos. But hopefully they're working on it. I know they're taking a break for the holidays right now, but hopefully when they come back and before we get into Season 4 of competitive, I hope they're able to fix some of these things and really make the game better. Anyways, guys, that's going to do it for this video. Let me know how you feel right now about Overwatch, how your matches have been going, if you feel like the game is even more toxic than it's ever been, if you feel like it is the most toxic game out there, or if there's another game you play where you feel like that game is worse and you've had an even worse experience. So, like I said, I just feel like right now this is probably one of the most toxic games I have ever played in my entire gaming career, if I want to call it that. But definitely been a part of a lot of communities, a lot of bad ones, but this one takes the cake for me. It's pretty awful. So, hope you guys are having a great day. I hope you're ready for a great new year. We're getting ready to bring in 2017 here, so hopefully everyone is doing well. Thanks as always for watching, guys, and I'll see you again next time.